Do you really think Biden is the president of the United States? Do you really think he's running our country? Please. Who above him? Who are the puppeteers? Here's how you'll know that everything I've said is the truth. When they come out and they just blast me. They have to. They have no choice, because the devil has no choice in this matter.
But there's been some criticism in the mainstream media where they suggest there's some sort of a connection to your movie and QAnon. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I can't explain it, and neither can they. Every show I've seen, they just like to throw the word out, QAnon. They make zero connection to the actual story. It's very difficult to make that connection when it's actually based on a true story. Every kid is real in the story. Every bad guy is real. You know, they play with some timing and things like that to fit it all in. But where's the QAnon doctrine being spewed in the film, in the script? I have no idea, because this is actually what it looks like, because this is what happened. I was there, and several others were there to confirm. So this is just some other agenda. You know, I mean, who would want to get the backs or run interference for pedophiles and human traffickers? That's the more important question in all this. Why would you want to lie to push an agenda whose goal is to have children be in captivity? It's kind of sick.
Right, and they got phony sponsors. The sponsors drop them off in the fields, and they're basically working all day, no communication with their families. It's happening right now. Those kids coming across the border are not going to good situations. I want you to hear what CNN said about you. Listen to this and have you respond.
Films are created out of moral panics. They're created out of bogus statistics. They're created out of fear. And with something like Sound of Freedom, it specifically is looking at QAnon concepts of these child trafficking rings that are run by the high-level elites, and only people like Tim Ballard and only people like Jim Caviezel, and by extension, only people like the ticket buyer can help bring these trafficking rings down.
Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, as that guy's talking, and he's nobody's hero, by the way. I can't imagine any kid looking at him thinking he's going to help them out. But I think of the children that are really depicted in that film. I know what happened to them. Those children were the subjects of child rape videos. Those children were being sold for sex. In total, you see over 120 kids actually are rescued in the story that's being depicted, even if the movie doesn't get into all of them. These are real kids. I see them. I'm still friends with them. So it's embarrassing and frankly grotesque for this guy who knows nothing to start throwing out terms like QAnon and connecting it to a real story. I mean, they're not even thinking about it. So what are they thinking about?
Are they pro-sex trafficking? It's so bizarre. It's like they're pro-sex trafficking. Like, leave the industry alone.
That's how it feels to me. It feels like there's some other agenda, because why do this?
There's that. Oh my goodness! Thank you very much for that movie, because
we got to help our children, don't we?
Yeah, I know, because I'm also doing that.
They love their children. They love Raymond. That scene right there with that lady made me cry once. I don't know, man. I just looked at it and I said, I thought of my children. I thought, I know that they're all watching right now. I thought everybody else's children.
I only see Tim Ballard, but I see Jesus in him in this film. And at that point where I have tears coming out of my eyes, because my heart is so on fire. I'm fearless. You're fearless. You're the best that you will ever be when God is in your heart like that. And when it's burning, you're fearless, and you're not afraid of the devil. You actually hunt him. And any of them that hurt our little children in the film, there's a line in there where he says, "Why are you doing this?" And I say to him, as Tim said, because God's children are not for sale. They're not for sale. You can't do it anymore, Satan. And we're coming after you. And I'm not afraid, and I'd ask you all not to be afraid either, because they're worth saving.
My fellow Americans, you and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth. We'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness. We're at war now with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose this war, and in so doing lose this great way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those of us that had the most to lose did the least to prevent it from happening. Well, I think it's high time now we ask ourselves if we still even know the freedoms that were intended for us by our founding fathers. Every generation of Americans needs to know that freedom exists not to do what you like, but having the right to do what you ought. Set yourselves apart from this corrupt generation. Be saints. We weren't made to fit in. We were born to stand out.
I would absolutely die. If this were to change the world and get rid of trafficking and pornography and all of the 8 arms of this octopus that has to be destroyed, the only way you can destroy it is take the head out. If that hit, I'd give my life for it in a heartbeat.
I heard this in my heart when I was filming it. I mean, these are the deepest prayers I ever have done. Have always made me the greatest of the man that I couldn't be without Jesus. And he said, can you love my children more than you fear evil? Can you love, just as can you love Jesus more than you fear the cross?
God is coming for him, and I'm talking about the Christ Jesus God. That is the one that's coming after him, and there's a big storm coming, and they know it. But I'm asking you, warriors, to come out and tell the truth. If we would just unite. You know, I love that scene from Mel Gibson. I love that movie when he runs out. And where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight. Well, I'm here to pick one right now, because I'll do it for my children. I'll do it for your children.
One of the most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking, and particularly the trafficking of children. Our future is our children. Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.